As I sit here with tears falling down my cheeks, I wonder when shit gets sweet. I wonder if pure love will ever come my way. It feels like authenticity will stay astray. Is it my karma or pure unfairness? Or maybe I'm just not worth it, worth the fight. Maybe I'm just a call when there's nothing else to do. Or maybe I'm just easy to screw. Or maybe I'm just that dumb. Or maybe I'm just a punk, scared to fight for what I deserve, fighting back tears I chose to reserve. The beauty is there, but the strength to admit what I'm worth is scarce.
Pick myself up, turn the world on its head. Don't forget.
What's good, YouTube? You know, you see me, it's your girl Debonair right here where y'all want me to be. As y'all can see, I'm in a different background. Only because I needed some good lighting today, because my slick back, you know, slick. I needed to feel the sun. I needed the sun to see all this beauty. I needed y'all to see all this nice, clear skin. Alright, let me jump right into why video 2 has come about. So as y'all can see in the video before, I wrote a poem, and that poem is called Maybe. Now, I wrote that poem a year ago, and at that point in my life, I was trying to overcome sadness. Well, the proper terminology is depression. And while I was depressed, I wanted to, like most people that are depressed sometimes, I wanted to commit suicide. I was ready. I was done. I was tired of everything. I was tired of all the hurt. I was tired of disappointment. You know, it seemed like it was never going to end. It just kept going and going and going, and it just wouldn't stop. And it was back to back, nonstop. So, you know, I chose to sit down and I chose to write because I knew that killing myself wasn't going to do anything but bring hurt to my family and my friends. And I didn't want that. You know, that's the last thing that I want. So all of my hurt stemmed from, now, there are a couple things that I'm going to say. I'm letting it be known ahead of time. There are a couple things that I'm going to say that friends and family members may not know about me. And, you know, some of them may feel like, well, why is she telling YouTube? Why is she comfortable to tell YouTube instead of her own family? And it's not about comfortability. It's just about, when it comes out, it just comes out. Honestly, it's not about comfortability for me, because I don't see myself as a victim. I don't see myself as I don't want to see myself as a victim, because a victim to me is like, you know, like weak, and I'm far from weak. All right, because don't let me pull these sleeves up, because I got some muscles to show y'all. All right, I'm talking about here, and inside my heart. Okay, inside my heart, there's a lot of muscles, a lot of strength, and I knew that. So I felt like that's why I needed to write. When I was 7, around 7 or 8, I was raped. And at the moment, it didn't affect me because, you know, as a little girl, you don't necessarily, you know that what that person is doing is wrong, but it doesn't hit home until, well, for me, it didn't hit home until I went to try to lose my virginity. And now that's a story for a later video. But when I did try, I had a terrible anxiety attack on the inside. Now that's how I am. How you doing? All of my anxiety attacks that I have, it's like, you know, I start to breathe real heavy on the inside. I get nervous, I start shaking, and some people, they cry, some people hyperventilate. I'm more on the inside. I've always been like that. I will sit in a room, I don't care if I'm uncomfortable or not, I'll sit in the room and I'll just get quiet and just look at everybody. And that was just me. That's just me. And I think that's what affected me the most, is that I kept everything inside. I didn't want to share anything with anyone because I didn't think anyone would believe me. I didn't tell my mom until about a year ago that I was raped when I was little. And I didn't tell my dad until about a couple months ago that I was raped when I was little. So, you know, it took a toll. It really did take a toll. And now when I run into guys that only want to have sex with me, it affects me. And at that time, that's all I was running into, guys that just wanted to have sex, guys that didn't want to get to know me. They didn't want to know my favorite color for sure. They just wanted to know what was going on down here and what it felt like. That's all they wanted to know. And, you know, it hurt. It hurt a lot. Because growing up, my dad always told me, you know, guys, that's all they want. They ain't y'all know what I was about to say. And I didn't want to believe that because I thought, like, I could change people. I could change someone. I can get someone to do better, you know, to treat me better. And if someone is showing you a sign of who they are, you better take it and you better run. You better go. I mean, go left. Don't go the way they're going. Go the opposite, right? And some people, they tend to try to stick it through. My best advice to you is if you feel like you just can't stick it through no more, you just don't need to stick it through. You need to just not fight no more. Because somewhere along the line, that person is going to find someone that's probably 10 times worse than them. And they're going to get hurt. And you just don't want to be around them when they're hurt. Because someone that's already hurt, and I know this from experience, someone that is hurt tends to hurt other people. And that's what I was starting to do too. I was hurting everybody that I loved, whether it was just flat, like spazzing out on them, whether it was just not wanting to be around them, period. I was hurting everybody. I didn't want to listen to anyone. I didn't want anyone's advice, nothing. And it wasn't until a little while ago, honestly, I'm going to be honest, my best friend had her baby, had her first child, and when it comes to little babies, it's hard for me to get attached. It's hard for me to, you know, accept that there's this precious small person in my arms, you know, because one, I'm scared, like, I'm gonna drop him, or I'm scared, like, you know, what if I hold him the wrong way? What if I'm hurting him, you know? But I went to the hospital and I saw my best friend, and I saw her laying in the hospital bed, and I just looked at the baby. I didn't touch him. I didn't do anything. I just looked at the baby, and he just was like so precious. And he was just like he's very, very precious, and he's so sweet. Did I just spit? Ew. He's very, very sweet, and sweet as in, like, when you look at him, you just feel all warm inside. Like, oh, look at this little baby. And it made me realize, like, there's gonna come a time where I'm going to have a child, and I don't want to have my child and I'm still hurt, because that's going to affect my child, and my child is going to see that, and I don't want my child to see that. I want my child to know that mommy is strong. I want my child to know that, yes, mommy has her moments when she's weak, but mommy gonna get through it, and mommy's gonna make sure that we're always good. And, you know, that's what made me realize that no matter what, you cannot allow someone to ever get you to the point where you feel like there's nothing left, like there's nothing worth living for. And that's how I was feeling, like there was nothing worth living for, like I wasn't good at all for anything. And I don't want to bring that type of negativity around someone so precious as, for example, my best friend's baby. You know, because like I said, once I get older and once I decide to have children, I want to make sure that I let go of all my hurt, so that when my babies get older, I'm allowed to, well, not I'm allowed, but I can make sure that they don't, you know, have to feel what I felt, if that makes sense. I want to make sure that I keep them safe. And keeping them safe is not only about keeping them safe from the world, keeping them safe from me and what I go through. Because some people, what they don't realize, like I said, when you're hurt, you hurt other people. And, you know, writing that poem, it not only opened my eyes to how I really was feeling on the inside, but it opened my eyes to what I was allowing someone else to do to me. And you can't let someone have that much power over you. Allowing someone to have that much power over you is like missing a cell for Victoria's Secret, okay? That is the worst thing ever. Like, the worst thing ever, all right? You have to find a way to just release your emotions, whether, like I said, whether it's running, whether it's looking in the mirror and go, I'm beautiful, I'm good regardless. You gotta do that. You gotta do whatever is best for you. So I hope that with this video, I was able to you know, make someone's day, give someone advice that they were looking for that they couldn't get from someone else, whether it's at home, whether it's at church, whether it's, I don't know, YouTube. I don't know. I hope that I could give you what that other person couldn't give you. And that's all there is to it. And I promise to come back with some lit videos. My next video, I think I'm gonna do a prank. I don't know who I'm gonna do a prank on, but you gotta stay tuned. Debonair, and I'm out. Peace.